Sherry Abbasi for BRO Boxing. We're here with Eddie Hearn. Eddie, how's it going?
I'm just buzzing. I'm buzzing, Sherry. I can't wait for this show on Saturday. And a great press conference there with 6 brilliant elite level world fighters. And I can't believe it's almost upon us. 2 days to go.
Yeah, it's come pretty fast, hasn't it?
It has. You know, I remember making the fights and thinking, I hope this holds up. And you know, we've had some terrible luck over the last 6 months. And 1 day to go. Everyone's here. Everyone's ready. And can't wait.
I think due to the fact that we've had James Degale's victory in there as well, it kind of sped up the whole process. But in terms of the card on Saturday night, have we got a set schedule now?
Yeah, we released it earlier. So we start with John Wayne Hibbert against Dave Ryan, then Scotty Cardle against Craig Evans for the British, then John Ryder against Nick Blackwell for the British, Nathan Cleverly, then Lee Selby for the world title, then Kevin Mitchell, then Anthony Joshua, and then Kell Brook against Frankie Gavin.
Well, so what will be the first televised show?
5 o'clock, John Wayne Hibbert against Dave Ryan. That'll be free view for Sky customers, and then 6 o'clock we'll go encrypted on Sky Box Office with Scotty Cardle.
Cool. So now we've had the final press conference now for the world titles. Yesterday we did see Anthony Joshua and Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson with his little interruption. What do you make of his confidence? Is it a bit worrying, or do you think that that's just his character?
He's definitely fit. He's definitely up for the fight. I had an argument with Paulie Malignaggi who said there's no way that Joshua stops him, and I think he does. But it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with Johnson's experience, his style, his verbal stuff as well. And I think, you know, it's going to be difficult for Johnson to stand up to Joshua, but he has done it against Klitschko, he has done it against Fury, and maybe he's just got a granite chin, and maybe he's just got the style that can't be stopped. Now
we've got Kevin Mitchell and Jorge Linares. Now stylistically, Linares is a very, very fast, you know, in and out kind of boxer. And in terms of Mitchell's the main event with Kell Brook and Frankie Gavin. Now we've seen that Frankie he's up for it. He's very, very confident.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but there's people in boxing. You know, I was talking to James Degale, Jim McDonnell, Tony Bellew. They said Frankie Gavin's the most gifted British fighter they've ever seen, but he hasn't delivered at that level that people expected. But I don't feel he's really had the chances. And now he comes into a fight. First time in history 2 Brits have challenged for the World Welterweight title, and he's up for it. He's bang up for it. But like Kell said, he's on a seek and destroy mission, and he wants to go in and finish him early, and then move on to the next one.
Like you just mentioned, it is a very historical occasion in terms of 2 British welterweights fighting for a world title on British soil as well. Unheard of, obviously. Yeah. And you're saying about Brandon Rios potentially in August for the winner of this bout. So even if Frankie wins that, would that still be the 100%?
If Frankie wins, he's in the same position as Kell Brook. He's world champion. He's just beat the guy that everyone believes he's going to go on and be very, very special. So just absolutely can't wait. And that main event's mouth-watering, and so is the entire card.
In terms of James Degale now, he's back. He's on ringside tonight on Sky Sports. What's the plan for him going forward? He's back in the ring, you said in October roughly, but any names about?
No, I mean, just had Golden Boy come on and talk about Bernard Hopkins, and everyone's been on, you know, Kessler, Boutte, you know, great fights for him in the division. But, you know, I like all those names, and, you know, there's some interesting fights for him in the division. And like I said, he'll be back in October to defend his title.
We touched on the super middleweight division. Froch, Golovkin, where are we standing right about now with that?
I don't know if Carl will fight again. I think if he does, it will probably be Golovkin. But, you know, everyone seems to talk about the fight, and HBO talk about the fight, but let's see what kind of money HBO can bring to the table. If it's the right deal, I think he'll fight again. He's got to be up for it, but I think Golovkin flicks the switches for Carl Froch, and, you know, I think he's interested in the fight.
So right now there's nothing solid?
No. If he fights again, I think it'll probably be Golovkin, but he may not fight again.
So we were just talking about James Degale now. The clash that everyone wants to see is a rematch between him and George Groves. We've got him versus Badou Jack. It's not set date yet, but they have come to an agreement that they're going to fight. How do you see that fight going stylistically, and do you think George can do the business? I
think the old George Groves would beat Badou Jack quite comfortably. I'm not sure the old George Groves exists anymore. He hasn't looked himself since he got knocked out by Carl Froch in front of 80,000 at Wembley. And if he's not the old George Groves, he won't beat Badou Jack. I hope he does. I'm desperate for him, because then we move straight into a unification fight. So, you know, hopefully, I think they're looking at September for that fight. Fingers crossed he gets it done.
So the next British super fight potentially could be George Groves and James Degale.
Yeah, that would be a Wembley filler for sure.
As always, you spoke about Wembley. Now we've got Amir Khan fighting this weekend, Friday night on PBC in America. If he does win, are we looking to make Kell Brook and Amir Khan soon as possible?
Of course, we'd do it instantly, but they don't want the fight, and, you know, I can't see the fight happening. They won't even entertain discussion, so we just have to look after ourselves.
In your honest opinion, do you think Floyd Mayweather will fight Amir Khan or not?
No.
What's your reasoning for it?
How can you go from a fight earning over $200 million to a fight earning $60 million and it being potentially tougher. It just doesn't make sense, you know.
Thank you for your time, Eddie. Appreciate it, mate. Cheers, Eddie. Thank you.